BGMC. The biblical truth lives here.
We are living in a time like no other in history, but fortunately for us, God wrote it all down in His prophecies. Find out what prophecies happened this week ripped straight from the headlines. Stay tuned for the Prophecy Headlines news show on the Remnant's Call.
Please pay attention to the news.
Por favor, presten atención a las noticias.
The Remnant's Call, End Time Prophecy News. Please, for goodness sakes, pay attention.
Por favor, presten atención. Noticias de últimos tiempos.
Our first story comes from Israel.
La primera historia viene de Israel.
Israel is once again being attacked by the Muslims.
Israel una vez más ha sido atacado por los musulmanes.
Okay? There were 2 rocket attacks in Israel this past week.
Y hubieron dos ataques de misiles en esta semana.
And one of Israel's pilots was shot down and died.
Y uno de los pilotos fue atacado y murió.
Get ready, people. The war is coming.
Prepárense, la guerra está a punto de comenzar.
Last week, our very naive president,
Y la semana pasada nuestro presidente,
he doesn't really have too many brain cells going on in there.
no hay muchas células cerebrales funcionando ahí.
At first, the press release was he was in Jerusalem, Israel.
Y lo primero fue que él estuvo quitándose de Israel, Jerusalén.
Later on, that was removed. He was just in Jerusalem.
Y una vez más él estuvo tratando de quitar que estuvo allá en Israel.
So that meant the United States government removed Jerusalem from Israel.
Así que los Estados Unidos quitó Jerusalén de Israel.
I know he grew up in Kenya, and they don't really have very good school systems in Kenya.
Yo sé que él creció en Kenia y no hay mucho
Read his
sistema
book.
educativo en Kenia.
He says it.
Pueden leerlo en su propio libro.
But here is something beautiful. It is also an end-time prophecy.
Pero aquí hay una noticia de los últimos tiempos.
523 Ethiopian Jews have come back to the land this week.
500,000 etíopes volvieron a la isla de Israel.
And there you see them getting off the airplane.
De ahí lo estás viendo desmontándose del avión.
Okay? The ICEJ, that's the International Christian Embassy, has given $500,000 for these people.
La embajada cristiana en Jerusalén internacional estuvieron donándole 500,000 a ellos.
Going on to the next story. You know, we had Yom Teruah here last week,
Ustedes saben que la semana pasada tuvimos
and
Yom Teruah,
it was free for you.
y fue gratis para todos.
Because here at Beth Goyim, it's not about money.
Porque aquí en Bet Goim no se trata de dinero.
But at some Jewish synagogues, it is.
Pero en algunas sinagogas judías sí lo es.
At the synagogue in New York City,
En una sinagoga en Nueva York,
called Emmanuel, Temple Emmanuel,
el Templo Immanuel,
if you wanted a seat in their synagogue,
si quieres sentarte en esa
for
sinagoga,
Yom Teruah, it cost you $3,000.
en Yom Teruah, si quieres sentarte, te cuesta $3,000.
Aren't you happy you came here?
¿No estás feliz de haber venido?
Okay, if I charged $3,000, maybe nobody would be here.
Si hubiese cobrado 3,000, quizás hubiera venido los grillos.
That's what would be here. That's disgusting.
Es repugnante.
That is not nice.
Eso no es bueno.
All right, anti-Semitism this week.
Noticia de antisemitismo en esta semana.
Israel was chastised by the UN this week.
Las Naciones Unidas castigó a Israel.
There you actually see the picture
Ahí puedes ver incluso las
of the
fotografías.
rocket leaving the Gaza Strip.
El misil saliendo de la franja de Gaza.
So Israel retaliated by bombing that neighborhood.
Pero Israel estaba siendo atacada por haber sido atacado. Ellos respondieron al ataque.
Because that's an act of war.
Porque es un acto de guerra.
But Israel was chastised by the United Nations for protecting itself.
Pero las Naciones Unidas sancionó a Israel por protegerse.
Going on to end time prophecy. Please pay attention now.
Noticias de últimos tiempos, presten atención.
Keep it kosher. Leviticus 11.
En Levíticos 11, manteniendo
Why does
el
God
kosher.
say, don't eat the pig?
¿Por qué el Señor dice no comas el cerdo?
Well, in England this week,
Bueno, en Inglaterra en esa semana
they have a lot of people getting very, very sick
hay muchas personas enfermándose
because they're eating pork.
porque ellos están comiendo cerdo.
97 out of 100, 3 samples out of 97
Hubieron una prueba de 97 personas,
gave you
3 muestras de 97,
they gave you diarrhea for eating pork. Gave you MRSA.
tuvieron diarrea por comer el cerdo.
Okay, it's, so the best way is to do what God said. Don't eat the pork.
Lo mejor es hacer lo que Dios dijo, no coma cerdo.
Okay, so that's the first light story. Now we're going to go deep. Yeshua warned us about this time that we're about to live through.
Yeshua nos advirtió de ese tiempo que estamos a punto de vivir.
In Matthew 24, verse 7,
En Mateo 24:7,
it talks about wars and rumors of wars.
él habló de guerras y rumores de guerras.
Let me tell you, everybody, we are heading for nuclear war.
Y te voy a decir que estamos a punto de una guerra nuclear.
I can't tell you, I have tons of stories about this week.
Y he tenido muchísimas historias en esta semana.
Please prepare yourself.
Por favor, prepárense.
Start getting necessary items to be able to last for a while. Some canned food with a manual can opener.
Por favor, prepárense con alimentos y si es posible, comidas enlatadas.
Or be a Boy Scout and have one of these.
O sea, como un Boy Scout, tenga uno de estos.
Okay? What happened this week in the news that the regular news stations are not telling you?
¿Qué pasó en esta semana que las noticias regulares no están anunciando?
Russia emptied out all of Moscow this week. 40 million people.
Y Rusia ha enviado y Rusia sacó a unos 40 millones de personas.
They were doing a drill for a nuclear war.
Ellos estuvieron haciendo un ejercicio como si fuera una guerra nuclear.
You don't remove 40 million people from your capital, it's going to cost a lot.
Tú no mueves a unos 40 millones de personas de tu capital, eso te va a costar mucho dinero.
They're getting ready for a very big fight.
Ellos se están preparando para una guerra bien fuerte.
Next story. The U.S. Army chief threatens war with Russia this week.
El jefe del ejército norteamericano estuvo amenazando a Rusia por el asunto de guerra.
He said to Russia, "We will destroy you.
Él le dijo a Rusia que te vamos a destruir.
We're going to get our butts kicked.
Nosotros vamos a recibir una paliza.
Because unless God guards the house, the watchmen watch in vain."
Porque a menos que el Señor cuide la casa, el guardia vela en vano.
And when you take the Bible out of every military branch,
Y cuando quitas la Biblia de todas las ramas del ejército,
we beat the British in the Revolutionary War.
y nosotros le ganamos a los británicos en la guerra
Why did we
revolucionaria.
win?
¿Por qué le ganamos?
We were a horrible army.
Porque teníamos un ejército horrible.
We had horrible guns.
Teníamos armamento horrible, ¿no?
Their cannons could reach twice as far as ours.
Sus armamentos podían alcanzar mucho más que el nuestro.
But why did we win?
Pero ¿por qué ganamos?
Because we had a leader who feared God.
Porque teníamos un líder que temía a Dios.
And his name is George Washington.
Y su nombre fue George Washington.
He was a man who prayed,
Era un hombre que oraba,
who led his troops in prayer,
que dirigía sus tropas en
who
oración,
read the Bible.
que leía la Biblia.
And you know what?
¿Sabes qué?
Back in the Revolution, the Sabbath was holy.
Y en los tiempos de la Revolución, el sábado era santo.
Sunday worship was outlawed in the United States.
En los Estados Unidos, el domingo no era un día para adorar.
Next war story. There's a U.S. bomber plane.
Ahí está el bombardero de los Estados Unidos.
You know what our Air Force did this week?
¿Sabes lo que nuestro ejército hizo esta semana?
In the Nevada deserts,
En el desierto de Nevada,
they dropped 2 nuclear bombs, fake ones.
ellos tiraron 2 bombas nucleares de salva, que no,
2
que no son reales.
700-pound bombs.
2 misiles de 700 libras.
They're getting ready, everybody.
Ellos se están preparando.
They're getting ready.
Se están preparando.
Next news story.
Próxima noticia.
China's government labeled the United States the top threat in the world to them.
Y en China el ejército puso en la mira a los Estados Unidos como su número uno.
Why are these stories so important?
¿Por qué esta noticia es tan importante?
Please read the book of Ezekiel,
Por favor, lee el libro de Ezequiel.
chapter 37 through chapter 39, and you're going to see what's going to happen
Los
next.
capítulos 37 hasta el 39 y puedes ver lo que sucede después.
China is Magog.
China es Magog
Russia is Gog.
y Rusia es Gog.
Next news story. Iraq and Turkey are about to go to nuclear war.
Y Irak y Turquía están a punto de ir a una guerra nuclear.
Okay? Their armies are right next to one another on the borders.
Y sus ejércitos están uno al lado de otras en la frontera.
Read Ezekiel 38 and see what happens next.
Y lee Ezequiel 38 y puedes ver lo que sucede después.
And if you don't believe me, that's cool.
Si no me crees, está bien.
Don't knock on the door.
No me tocas la puerta después.
Hear what's going on in America now.
Ahora lo que va a suceder aquí en Estados Unidos.
Proverbs 29 verse 18.
Proverbios 29:18.
It says, without a vision, the people perish.
Dice que sin visión el pueblo perece.
In California,
En California,
in South Los Angeles,
en Los Ángeles del Sur,
the police and the black community are going at it over a shooting.
la policía y la comunidad negra está debatiendo.
What is being done is the fabric of the United States is being torn apart.
Lo que sucede es que ¿cuál grupo de Estados Unidos? The Fabric. Las fábricas han sido, o las zonas han sido evacuadas, divididas. Se está desbordando. Okay.
The way we live,
La forma en que vivimos,
okay, the way we live,
el sistema en que
that when we
vivimos,
have an outside threat, we come together.
que cuando tenemos una intervención venimos juntos.
Not anymore.
Ya no estamos juntos
We are
más.
divided on faith
Hemos sido divididos en la fe
and the amount of melanin in one person's skin.
y hemos dividido en asuntos raciales.
God doesn't see skin color, everybody.
Dios no ve colores de piel.
God sees your heart, and we all bleed red.
El Señor solamente ve el corazón y todos sangramos rojo.
Doesn't matter if you have more melanin in your skin. It matters if you're a good person or not.
No importa si tienes más melanina que otro, lo que importa es si eres bien con los demás.
So if you're living in the hood, clean up the hood.
Así que si vives en el vecindario, límpialo.
Don't tell me about being poor.
No me digas de ser pobre.
My family came here with 13 children and a suitcase full of clothes, and that was it.
Mi familia vino aquí con 13 niños y con una sola maleta
The
para
rest
todos.
of them died in the Holocaust, so don't tell me about being persecuted.
El resto murió en el holocausto, así que no me digas qué es ser perseguido.
Shut up and get educated.
Así que cállate y sé educado.
And fear God and follow His commandments, and He'll raise you up.
Y cree en el Señor y confía en sus palabras y Él te levantará.
But you see what's happening in our nation.
Pero ves lo que está sucediendo en la nación.
Everybody's not going to fight together. Oh,
Ya nadie
that's a
va
black
a
person.
pelear juntos.
That's a white person.
Ese es negro, ese es blanco.
They're gonna, the Chinese are going to take both of your neighborhoods
Los chinos lo van a tomar como de todas formas.
and kick you out and make you a slave.
Y te van a patear y te van a hacer esclavos.
The Chinese are good at making slaves.
Los chinos son buenos haciendo esclavos.
And they're excellent at fighting.
Y son excelentes peleadores.
And their army is way bigger than ours.
Y su ejército es súper mayor que el nuestro.
Psalm 127 verse 1
Salmo 127, versículo
says,
1.
unless Jehovah guards the house, the watchers watch in vain.
Dice que si el Señor no vela, en vano vela la guardia.
So we're ready to go to war.
Así que estamos listos para la
And what are
guerra.
we doing?
¿Y qué estamos haciendo?
We're taking the Bible out of the schools.
Estamos quitando la Biblia de las escuelas.
Teachers can't even have a Bible in the classroom.
Los profesores ya no pueden tener una Biblia en las
But you
escuelas.
can have Harry Potter, witchcraft.
Pero puedes tener a Harry Potter y a la brujería.
This is the disintegration of this nation.
Esta es la denigración de la nación.
Going on to the next slide. In the end of days, good will be called evil, and evil will be called good. Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20.
Isaías 5:20, lo bueno será llamado malo y lo malo bueno.
New story. Christians are being threatened with prison
Los,
for refusing to print gay wedding invitations.
los cristianos están haciendo un trato en las prisiones por rehusarse a hacer bodas de homosexualidad.
How far,
Invitaciones de
how
homosexualidad.
far this nation has come.
¿Qué tan lejos hemos llegado?
They're threatening Christians because they won't print homosexual wedding invitations.
Están juzgando y denigrando a los cristianos por no querer hacer los diseños de invitaciones
But when
para
a-
bodas homosexuales.
But when a Christian goes to a gay bakery
Pero cuando un cristiano va a una repostería
and they wanted a
gay,
cake for traditional marriage
pero cuando ellos quieren una torta
and they recorded
para
it,
una boda y ellos lo graban,
nothing happens to the homos.
nada le pasa a los homosexuales.
What did Isaiah say?
¿Qué es lo que dice Isaías?
In the end of days,
En los últimos días,
evil will be called good
lo
and good will be called evil.
malo iba a ser llamado bueno y lo bueno malo.
Next news story on that understanding.
La próxima historia con este mismo
The
entendimiento.
University of Duke University,
La Universidad de Duke
is running a class
está dando una clase
to demasculinize men,
para ¿cómo?
to
Para
take
dem-
away your manhood,
para quitar la masculinidad del hombre,
to teach men how to be more feminine.
para enseñarle al hombre cómo ser más
I'm going to be
femenino.
running a class soon on how to make men real God-fearers.
Yo voy a dar la clase y voy a enseñarle a los hombres cómo ser más temerosos de
Amén.
Dios. Amén.
Men, we are to be the protectors of our homes.
Hombres, necesitamos ser los protectores de la casa.
With this,
Con esto,
but more with
pero
this,
más con esto, con
and
el,
with
y
this.
con el corazón.
Okay? Oh, but stop.
Para.
Proverbs 8, verse 36
Proverbios 8:36,
talks about people who love death.
hablando de personas que aman la muerte.
Here in this news story,
Aquí en esta noticia,
there you see this beautiful little old lady.
aquí puedes ver a esta señora.
She kept telling the people that she doesn't want to die,
Ella le dice a la persona que no quiere morir,
that she doesn't want physician-assisted murder.
que ella no quiere la petición de asesinato.
It's not suicide.
No es suicidio.
In God's understanding, suicide is murder. You're in hell.
Y en el entendimiento de la palabra del Señor, el suicidio
If you-
es asesinato.
If you
es muerte.
commit
Vas al infierno.
suicide,
Si
you
cometes
go
suicidio,
straight to hell,
te vas directo al infierno.
because that's murder in God's understanding.
Porque el suicidio es asesinato ante los ojos de Dios.
But the place where this old lady was living
Pero el lugar donde esta señora vive,
kept coming up to her and say, "Hey, do you want to sign this paper? In case you get sick, we could kill you."
vienen y le están insistiendo a la señora de que ella debe de firmar el papel que si ella se enferma la pueden matar.
Hitler did this too.
Hitler hizo eso
Study
también.
what he did in Germany.
Estudien lo que él hizo en Alemania.
Talking about the dogs, the snakes, Deuteronomy 28, verse 49 and 50.
Hablando de perros, de las serpientes, en Deuteronomio 28, 49 y
Talks
50.
about people that don't love life again.
Hablando de personas que no aman la vida de nuevo.
In our first news story about Islam,
En esta historia
the
del Islam,
European Union has ordered all British newspapers and news agencies
la Unión Europea está ordenando a los británicos y a todas las naciones
to stop calling terrorist attack Muslim terrorist attacks.
que se detengan de decir ataques terroristas a los musulmanes.
The IRA is not bombing anybody recently.
La
Irish Republican Army.
el ejército republicano no está atacando a nadie más.
So call it what it is.
Así que llámenlo lo que sea.
But this is also what Hitler did. He took over the news agencies.
Y esto es lo que sucedió cuando Hitler también. Él quitó todas esas agencias de noticias.
Next news story about these wonderful demonically possessed people called Islam. They are saying, go to quiet neighborhoods and have knife attacks.
Ellos dicen, los musulmanes dicen que vayan a vecindarios tranquilos y tengan ataques con cuchillos.
So if you take our Messianic martial arts class,
Así que si tomas las clases de artes marciales,
you will learn how
mesiánicas,
to take that knife from that wonderful peace-loving Muslim
vas a aprender cómo a desarmar a ese musulmán
and use it on them.
y usarlo en contra de ellos.
This is going to start happening. This came out on the 4th.
Va a comenzar, esto vino a la luz el día 4.
Next news story. The Lord said, if you don't follow me,
El Señor dice que si no me sigues,
I'm going to take away your food.
yo voy a tomar tus alimentos.
Let's take a look at what's happening in Venezuela.
Vamos a ver lo que pasa en Venezuela.
They stopped this chicken truck.
Ellos detuvieron este camión de pollos
And they stopped it from going on the road.
Y lo tuvieron de ir durante el
They
la calle.
attacked the driver,
Atacaron al
and,
conductor.
and all the people robbed the truck of all the chickens.
Y toda la persona tomó los pollos que estaban en el camión.
See, without a vision,
Sin visión,
without God's Torah,
sin la ley de Dios.
you don't think we need Torah, then go ahead, steal.
Entonces, si no crees que en la ley de Dios, entonces ve y roba.
But here, there's a severe food crisis going on in Venezuela.
Y eso estuvo. Hay una crisis de alimentos en Venezuela.
So now they're resorting to stealing.
Entonces ellos han resuelto en robar.
And there's a picture of the people stealing the chickens.
Y ahí está la foto de las personas robándose los pollos.
Revelation 13, verse 16, the mark of Big Brother.
La marca del gran hermano en Revelaciones, Apocalipsis 13:16.
Okay?
Yeah.
How many people have Yahoo emails? You may want to get rid of it right now. Yahoo has been scanning your emails
Yahoo está escaneando tus correos electrónicos
and giving them to the NSA and the FBI without your knowledge, which is against the law.
y ellos están haciendo eso y dando la información a la FBI y a la NSA.
But we become a nation who doesn't fear God, so no laws are applicable.
Así que cuando la nación no es temerosa de Dios, todas las leyes son aplicables.
This story broke yesterday.
Esta noticia fue ayer que salió.
So, Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Goodbye, Yahoo. All right, earthquakes.
Terremotos.
They're expecting a very big earthquake maybe by Tuesday in Los Angeles.
Están esperando un terremoto bien fuerte para el martes en Los Ángeles.
They've had swarms of over like 500 little earthquakes.
Ellos han estado sintiendo muchos temblores, réplicas allá en Los Ángeles.
So if you're living in California, I'd leave.
Así que si estás viviendo en California, yo me iría.
All right, let's see. I think that's the last story. That's the last story for today.
Y esta es la última
If
noticia.
you want
que
all the
voy a dar.
war stories, send me an email at info@bethgoim.org.
Si quieres todas las noticias, mándame un email a info@betcoin.org.
And there were 231 of you online last week.
Y vieron 231 de ustedes ahí en.
Hey, what should we say to them?
¿Qué les
Hit
digo?
the daggone donate button. Shalom. My name is Messianic Rabbi Andrew Dinnerman, and I invite you to come to visit our congregation. If you are in the tri-state area, come out and visit with us on Shabbat. We are a congregation of Jews and Gentiles, living as one in the Messiah Yeshua. BGMC is a place of true worship. The focus never wanders from the Hebraic roots of our faith. Beth Goyim is rooted in the Word of God from Bereshit through to the book of Revelation. Messiah's strong words against man-made tradition are carefully recorded in Matthew 7. That is the reason we only follow the straight-up instructions found in Scripture. Truly, the way, the truth, and the life. If you're looking for a deeper walk with Adonai, come out for our Tuesday evening Bible study called Messianic Torah Time. Come, spend a day with us on any Shabbat. We start at 11 a.m. with the sound of the ancient Hebrew shofar. Next, we offer our King praise and worship in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. After worship, we review the headlines in the previous week's news from around the globe, especially news from the Holy Land, Israel. We don't just list the news headlines as current events, but we comb through the scriptures, searching for clues to understand what they mean and then to help pinpoint prophetically our current position on Adonai's clock. After digesting all that modern information, we leave the world behind as we journey with our Adonai deep into his eternal word, not with just one or two scriptures, but usually 7 or more scriptures. The spiritual nourishment and the richness of his kingdom become accessible to the ones who share this special time and seek them out. The day does not end there. Because Shabbat is so special to him, there is always so much more that our King desires to share. So instead of separating and leaving, we stay together as a family for potluck lunch and an afternoon study of our King's Word. We close the Shabbat together with the reading of the new week's parashah. That's the Torah portion. Even after those blessings, many of us just can't get enough. So the members bring prepared homemade foods to share while we all enjoy an uplifting movie together. If all that information is not quite enough, You can check out our website where you will find over 200 video teachings and biblical holy day studies. Under Messianic Torah Time, the Hebrew Roots button, you'll discover free studies on many different topics, including PowerPoint slide presentations. If Beth Goyim sounds like a place you'd love to visit, but you live outside the tri-state area, there is still a way to connect with us. We stream live on the internet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Shabbat. The website is www.bethgoyim.org. That's BETHGOYIM.org. Our phone number is 973-338-7800 or 978-2-YESHUA. That's 978, the number 2, Yeshua. Shalom.